Do you ever hear a story that just sticks with you? Well, there's one from former Manchester United midfielder Nicky Butt that really hits differently when you're thinking about how footballers are portrayed. In 2021, Butt shared a moment he witnessed often. Sir Alex Ferguson bellowing across the training ground, telling Cristiano Ronaldo to get off the pitch because he'd been there for hours. 2-3 in the afternoon, and Ronaldo was still pushing himself. Now let's pause there for a second. Be honest. When you hear the name Ronaldo, is hard-working the first word that comes to mind? Or has the media's portrayal shaped that image into something else entirely? I mean, how many times have we seen him painted as arrogant, selfish, or obsessed with his ego? And that brings us to something much bigger. Football media today isn't just about match recaps or transfer news. It's about narratives, carefully constructed ones, the kind that build someone up until they're untouchable or drag them down until they're dismissed completely. They shape perception through selective editing, attention-grabbing headlines, and repeated buzzwords. So here's a question for you. When you judge a player, are you reacting to their performance or reacting to the way it was presented? Let's sit with that thought while we look closer at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. Whether it's a panel on Sky Sports or a viral tweet, the words arrogant or self-obsessed get thrown around a lot. They've been repeated so many times, they start to sound like facts. But how often do we actually check where those claims come from? Because the people who've worked with Ronaldo tell a different story. Again, we've got Nicky Butt talking about how Ferguson had to force him to stop training. That's not arrogance, that's obsession with being the best. Think back to 2022. Ronaldo knocked a fan's phone out of his hand. Headlines erupted. It was all over the place.
Police are investigating an incident in which Cristiano Ronaldo appeared to knock a mobile phone out of a supporter's hand at Everton.
Videos, memes, angry takes. And yes, that moment wasn't his best. But did the same headlines mention that he apologized? Or that he later arranged to meet with the fan's family? That part of the story seemed to quietly vanish. And here's a personal one for me. I watched the entire Piers Morgan interview with Ronaldo. Not the clips, the whole thing. What I saw was a man opening up, not a villain. But if you only saw what was trending online, you probably saw a totally different version, one that was chopped up into controversy. Now, let's talk Messi. What comes to mind first? Genius? Humble? Quiet leader? Yeah, you're not alone. Messi's reputation as the Golden Boy is one of the most carefully preserved images in modern sport. It's backed by years of consistent messaging from Barcelona's media team, PR firms, and partner broadcasters. Barca TV alone has curated hours of content framing him as the perfect player. But behind that golden glow, there have been controversies too. In 2016, Messi and his father were found guilty of tax fraud. They were fined over €2 million. Messi received a 21-month prison sentence that was later converted into a fine. That's no small deal. Yet, media coverage of this was oddly restrained. No constant panel discussions, no media circus. Then in 2022, Messi became an ambassador for Saudi Arabian tourism. With all the global criticism Saudi Arabia receives for its human rights issues, you'd expect more outcry. But again, media silence, or at least very soft coverage. In his 2013 biography, author Guillaume Balaguer quoted Messi saying, "If you want to know about me, do not ask me. Ask the people who know me." Now that's a strong line, right? But when someone like Ronaldo says something similar, it's often used as evidence of arrogance. Why the double standard? And speaking of double standards, Neymar might be the poster child for them. You've probably heard it all. He's a party boy, a diver, dramatic with injuries. The media loves these labels. ESPN panels, Marca headlines, Twitter threads, it's a narrative that's stuck. But here's what you don't hear as much. Neymar has scored 118 goals and assisted 77 times in 173 appearances for PSG. That's nearly a goal contribution every single game. And off the pitch, he's quietly doing the work. Through the Instituto Neymar Jr., he's supported thousands of kids in Brazil. During the pandemic, he donated over $1 million to COVID-19 relief. I still remember scrolling through my feed and seeing more noise about Neymar's birthday bash than his $1 million donation. It really made me question how the media decides what's newsworthy. Let's keep going, because this pattern doesn't just stop at the stars. It applies to young players too. The media loves to build hype. João Félix was bought by Atletico Madrid for €126 million in 2019. He was instantly labeled the next Ronaldo. He's now called a flop by many of those same outlets. Then there's Dele Alli. At one point, he was England's midfield future. But after struggling with injuries and form, the narrative flipped. In 2023, he opened up about serious mental health battles. And still, a lot of the conversation in media circles remains stuck on lazy stereotypes. Now, Mason Greenwood is an even more complex case. Once touted as United's next big star, his legal issues caused a media frenzy. Some rushed to condemn. Others defended him without context. Few took the time to approach the topic with the nuance it deserves. In 2025, Jamie Carragher called Manchester United maybe the worst team in history after just 10 games. That kind of statement isn't just commentary, it becomes the headline. And when you hear something like that over and over, it's hard not to internalize it. Media takes these players to extremes, either icons or failures, no middle ground. Let's look at how that happens. It crafts stories for emotion. Slow motion replays, dramatic voiceovers, spliced quotes. It's all designed to create an immediate reaction. Sky Sports, ESPN, and others have turned this into a fine art. Picture this. Ronaldo leaves the pitch early. The headline reads, "Ronaldo storms off." Messi skips a press conference? That's quiet leadership. Same action, different narrative. A 2021 study by the Reuters Institute showed that 67% of football fans get their content primarily through social media. That means most of us see reactions before we see reality. Think about that. A dramatic headline or edited clip could be your only window into what actually happened. Even I've fallen for it. I've watched a clip, reacted to it, and then later found out it had been cut down or taken out of context. It's way too easy to get misled, and that's why we have to start thinking differently. When the media carves out heroes and villains, it divides us as fans. It creates these emotional camps where everyone's shouting, but no one's thinking critically. So how do we fix that? Well, it starts by being curious. Watch full interviews, follow neutral journalists, go beyond highlight reels. At the end of the day, football should be about joy, skill, unity. When we let it become a media soap opera filled with manufactured villains and overly polished heroes, we lose a little of that magic. Now, I'm curious, have you ever changed your mind about a player after learning more? Let's talk in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this got you thinking, the next video will take things even further. We're diving into how club-owned media influences transfer sagas and shapes fan loyalty. Don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.